What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to, I think we're on episode 3 now of Day Tripping with the Fly Guys. So Rob and I are headed out to a lake probably 40 minutes outside of Kamloops or so. So we're not really sure what's going to happen. This is a little bit of a recon mission, I guess you could call it, but we'll kind of see what happens as we get out there, and we're bringing you along for the ride, so you guys will find out too. So it's a beautiful day, fall, Kamloops, gotta love it. Stay tuned, and we'll see how we do. Still fishing. So I haven't been to this lake since early spring. Thought we would come check it out as things are starting to cool. Just saw a couple swallows up there on the water, which is interesting for sure. So yeah, we are just going to do some looking. First step is going to be find some fish and some bugs, and the next step will be put it in front of them, and then hopefully we catch them. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we got out on the water. Absolutely nothing happening, so no bugs, no hatches, no nothing. So we're in search mode, and for search mode typically means Rob with some sort of a staple pattern, be it a Leech, a Scud, Damsel, something like that. And then I usually rock a sinker with either a Booby or a Dragon. And we have a Booby on here. We're set up on a drop. We're anchored in about 12 feet. Casting kind of out to 20. Rob's working the shallows behind. So we're just trying to be versatile to find where these things might be. The Booby is not going to tell you a whole lot, but it's going to give you a sample and oftentimes a location of fish. So there's probably some fish hanging on this drop now that we've hooked this guy. And once we get him in, he took me all the way into my backing, actually. I don't think he's a very big fish, but he's strong. So we're going to land this guy and sample him up and see what we can find.
Not too shabby. Here we go. Okay. Nice little. Oh, I think that's good fish, Brandon. Just a little guy, he says. Oh my.
Take it. Okay, so the fly was just in the corner of the mouth. It popped right out. If you don't have boobies, you probably should. This little C cup, we call it, is about the only one we fish, and it's one I would recommend getting if you don't. CustomTroutFlies.ca, you can find it. There's a beautiful first fish of the day.
Not bad for the first fish.
Not bad.
All right.
And oh, hang on, that was close.
What are we doing? Oh, sample him up
first.
He gets to go free, but the price is his lunch.
Oh, and a whole bunch of Daphne, I think.
Looks like red Daphne, yeah. You bet.
There's remnants of some longer things, but looks like the Booby might be staying on.
Okay, well, let's get him in the water and
get this guy go.
Catch another one.
So as you guys see, the beauty of these Mobies, like this guy has been, you know, we've handled him for a little bit. We took a picture of him. We've done this, but he's been in the water the whole time. And now, they take off pretty good when you do that.
Camera's all fogged up, so we'll cut now and clean the camera, catch another fish hopefully, and we'll be back.
There you go. Okay, so we're about 5 minutes since the booby fish, and now we have a leech fish. So we really had zero expectations on this lake, and I think later in the episode, I think Rob will probably explain to you why. That is one squirrely trout. Get him in there. There we go. Yeah, so Rob will kind of go over why we don't have much for expectations here, but that's the second fish at the first spot, and we're about 15 minutes in, so no complaints.
M&M, baby.
M&M leech.
M&M black.
Right in the beak.
Okay, let's,
we're probably going to run another sample because the first one was not what we like to see.
Just in case. Always nice to do this in the water. Easier on you, easier on the fish, in the net. There's that baby.
Nice silver bullet. Bye-bye. And a whole bunch more red Daphnia.
So,
ooh, yuck.
It's okay.
They're eating the leech, they're eating the booby. We'll keep at it.
Okay, so I think we're on to something, even though they're on that Daphnia. The black leech is producing good. I've got an M&M with an orange beadhead, and I'm almost, I think, 3 for 3 on casts. And sometimes that's how it goes, right? So you just look at this guy go. Holy smokes!
You got him on the reel, bud. He's way the heck out there.
So maybe now's a good time for that talk.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. So listen to this, guys. This is, in my opinion, a very, very important piece of information if you're one that like to catch bigger fish. So what do you got, Rob?
So the reason Brandon alluded to we came here with very little expectation is we're at a lake that was on the list for winter kill this year. As you guys probably know, we had a huge kill in Region 3. Lots of lakes got affected. What I can tell you, or what we can tell you from experience, is very rarely are these lakes full kill. And if they're survivors, that simply means that there's more food for less fish in the lake. And then those fish, especially in these productive lakes, grow big fast. So it was a long shot, and a lot of times when we do this experimenting and checking these things out, you get an ass kicking, and you have to be prepared to take those.
AKA yesterday.
AKA yesterday. But sometimes you get to have some fun and catch some real little piggies. Now, I'm not saying you're going to catch a trophy trout every time, but as you saw from the pictures and the videos so far, these are some fat little bows, and it's mostly because there's not a ton of them in the lake.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, and you know, not a, you know, we're not talking double-digit fish, but the shoulders on this guy, the fitness, the shape, well-conditioned fish.
That's what you're looking for when you come and do this stuff. If they're growing fat in lakes where they were a little slimmer before, yeah, that's nice. Let's send that guy back.
Okay.
Oof.
When they're ready to go, they'll let you know.
The cost of being the camera guy, you know? Just soaked. But it's warm out, so it's all good. Okay, fish on. So, we've moved spots. In the last spot, we kind of worked it pretty good. Went about 20 minutes or so with no fish and thought it would be time for a move. Tried one more spot before this with nothing. Now this is a point just off a weed bed, and I decided to pick up the booby rod because this is a perfect little drop on basically 270 degrees around me that I can cast to. And then Rob is working the shallow stuff behind us with the leech. But yeah, a couple casts in, and this guy decided to smash the booby. Okay, so something to think about for today. We have chosen the fact that I think in stillwater fly fishing there's a pretty big misconception that you don't need to have to cast very far, and for 60-70% of the time that's probably correct. You know, when you're out in the spring and can anchor in deep water on top of some of a hatch, you don't really have to, you can dangle it right below the boat if you want. However, early spring, late fall, shallow water type stuff, which happens to be what we're doing today, if you look kind of where we're set up here, we are anchored in like 15 feet, but it comes straight up a shelf, and then it's 5-6 feet in where we're fishing. In our opinion, we don't like to anchor up on that flat if we can get away with it. We want to stay anchored out in the deep water and just cast into there. So that's where gear becomes somewhat important. We run the R8s paired with the Stillwater floater. And now, I'm not saying you need to go out and spend that money to get something like that. If you want to, by all means, they're deadly. But if you, more importantly, if you find any rod, and make sure you have it paired with the proper fly line. A proper fly line with a reasonable rod will allow anybody to cast 70 or 80 feet, and that's kind of what you have to do sometimes. So an example of that is going to basically be where I am right now. We're anchored out here. We want to get to the edge of these tulies. So in order to do that, you have to be able to have a decent rod, lots of line, and you can see no troubles flinging it all the way against those weed edges. Sometimes, even if the wind changes right now, we can't go anchor inside those tulies. So if the wind changes, then we're going to have to punch it through the wind. So when you're trying to be strategic and putting casts where you want them, having a good rod and line combo will go a long way. So just something to think about.
Hey there, folks. Coming to you from the beautiful BC southern interior today, and doing a Fly Guys gear review on the TFO Pro 3 fly rod. This one here is a 6-weight, 9-foot 4-piece. The combo comes with the NV2 fly reel, the special delivery fly line. It's preloaded with backing, comes with the leader. Also comes with the sock and a nice 4-piece case. A couple of things that I like about this rod are, one, I find it to be quite light in the hand. It's quite responsive. Another thing that I like about it, as did I when I did my review on the Pro 2, is that I feel like you aren't likely to outgrow this rod, even though it's geared towards beginners and intermediate. It's got a fast and smooth enough action that, honestly, I find it quite pleasurable to cast. We weren't able to get footage of fish, even though a couple cooperated, but it's got good backbone. Landed nice fish, about 4 pounds today without much trouble. The drag was nice and smooth, and overall I'm quite impressed for the price point. So that's it, folks. There's going to be a write-up as well. Thanks for watching.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button so you don't miss any more content. We got a lot coming down the pipe.
So remember last video when Brandon said I was working a leech?
Rob's doing sneaky things again.
I didn't tell him, but I saw a couple crawny shucks on the water, so I switched over. And 2 casts, 2 smash. So even though there was no prawns in that last fish that we sampled, we're slamming this thing.
Yeah, that was 2 for 2. Come on. He's a little rocket, this guy.
They're tough. Come on, get your nose out of there.
There it is. Nice. Nice. All right, so we'll let Rob deal with that fish. And I guess that means it might be time to put the bobber rod back on. I put the crawn on. And
I kept the crawn on.
And What do you got?
I got one of these too.
Oh, weird. So, oh. Okay, you're gonna have to take that. There's a loon.
Okay. So we're both now standing in the front of the boat because Brandon had to get his anchor.
Well, you get a journey boat, okay?
Which is kind of what I was gonna say. You need a stable boat to do stuff like this. Don't try standing up in a boat. Two guys, no, I'm in the back. Okay, how you doing up there, Brandon?
Okay, so a little melodramatic on that one. The chaos, I snapped the fish off on the anchor rope, just about pushed Rob out of the boat. He landed his fish and just sampled it because they are taking these prawns, but there's no prawns in the fish. That guy looked like he had a battle with the loon. Back he goes. And so now we got both the bobbers hanging out there, and both of them have been going down, but the fish like to do what they want to do, so sometimes they cause the chaos.
We should talk about how we're not endorsing anybody running around in a boat.
That is true. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
So use the fishing info, but yeah, try not to knock your fishing buddy out of the boat. Okay, so that's a wrap. We just got back to the shore, loading up the truck. To be honest, it was kind of a typical fall day. In the fall, you are going to often have windows throughout the day where those fish decide they're going to feed. So we showed up here today. We were lucky to get on some fish right away with leeches and the staple stuff. M&M leech was probably the best leech of the day by far. Bead color, I was using a different one than Rob, so that didn't really matter. But those did their thing for a little while, and then that kind of shut off. We moved. We didn't get anything at the second spot. Then we moved again. Probably the most consistent fly all day was the Booby, the C cup, and we were using that just about everywhere to see if there's fish, and then hopefully get a sample. We did find fish at the last spot we were at, and Rob tied a cron on, and that turned it into chaos. But again, that chaos was probably for 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and that was it. And then they shut off. So don't get discouraged if you're having a tough first hour or two in the fall. You could wait till 2 o'clock and go bonkers for an hour or two, and that makes your whole day. So for us, that was kind of the typical thing. The other two flies, so the M&M was probably our best leech. The C cup definitely did some work, and then the GMC Chironomid. I think we've still got some of those in the store too. With they are tied with the original 6916, so get you some of those while they're still there. Aside from that, I hope you guys are really enjoying this. We're kind of having fun putting them together. We fight a little bit about who has to pull the camera out and who can fish, but we're figuring that part out. So. It's going good. One thing we're going to ask is if you want to see something specific, if you want to see us go out this fall and do something, or if you're interested in something for next spring, throw us out some ideas. This is all new to us. Again, we are fishermen. We're not video makers. So this stuff, all the ideas make it a little easier, and we'll gladly go out and try and do them. So that's all I got. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss these things. Like the video, that helps us be seen and get the info out there. We really appreciate your support. And until the next one, cheers and tight lines.